Hi YouTubers and gamers, and I'm back, and today it's not a pickup video but a video response. I've been tagged by Longshot Nathan, and there's been a number of questions going around the small part of the YouTube gaming community, and with no further delay I'll just go through my answers to the questions. I will be tagging some other YouTubers at the end of this video, so if you're going to be tagged, just wait. First of all, the questions. The first question from on the list was, what's a game you were skeptical about that ended up being fantastic? I think that's probably had to be Minecraft. The idea of building things and stuff just sounded a bit very not infantile, but very basic it did. And I know there's more to Minecraft than this building and so forth. But when I was doing playing a bit of co-op with my daughter, we built a little village and so forth, and I built a replica of our house, trying to get to scale and everything, and it was quite actually therapeutic and soothing and enjoyable to actually build a copy of the house. Really, when you think about it, you've got to have enough land for the garden and the grounds and the house and the first floor, and think about spacing, and the second floor and position of windows and the materials you use. There's a fair bit of going into it really, so it was quite enjoyable in the end. So it had to be Minecraft. The next question on the list is, if you could have an item from any video game, what would it be? I haven't really thought too much about this. I think perhaps to have Bumblebee from one of the Transformers video games, would that be cool? Possibly. Or perhaps on a grander scale go for the Death Star from some of the Lego Star Wars games. I don't know. Something sort of grand and silly, I should think. Next one. What is the best video game related gift you received from a friend? I was sort of racking my brains for that, but then I thought, hang on, I actually got a package from Bill Benton, and I'll leave a message. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. Bill had a subscriber contest about a month or so ago, and I was one of the winners, and he sent us a nice package. And I know you just say along with the gift he was sending some sort of local candy for Caitlin, my daughter, so that was cool. So I think for now, I'm going to say my best present from a gaming friend would have to be Bill. So let's open this up and let's see what I've got. Oh, in here we got some King Bean candy bar, a nutty chocolatey cherry treat. God, that's really chunky, that is. Oh, there's two of those. Haha, me and Caitlin will have a go at that. And there's some packaging, and let's see what we've got in here. Here we are, is the goodie. That's it. And in here we have a sealed copy of Rugrats Scavenger Hunt for Nintendo 64. This is the first sealed game I've ever owned, really, so it's really cool to... sealed Nintendo 64 game I've ever owned, so it's really cool to have one for a collection. So thanks again, Bill, and like before, I will leave a link to his channel. Bill's... he's really one of the nicest YouTubers out there. He does lots of pickup videos and out and about videos, and videos when he goes to like various arcades or gaming events and so forth. And this guy, you can tell how much he loves gaming when you see him sort of goggling at arcade machines, especially with fighting machines. He's like a kid in a candy store, he really is. So, but Bill was a really great dude. Thanks again, Bill. And so that's the best present I've had from a gaming related present. Next question: What is a game you really enjoy but no one else seemed to know about? I do know the game, but I can't remember what it's called actually. It's just wait one moment. Okay, The game is called Who's That Flying? Now basically what it is, it's a side shooter, and it's like a sort of a comical type one. It is. It's the gameplay is really good. You can get it on the PlayStation Network and Steam, I think, and perhaps iOS, I don't know. But it was one of the games that was released on the PSP Mega Minis Volume 3. And I said it's called Who's That Fly? I don't think you can see the picture there. But it is a really top-notch shooter. I'd highly recommend it. I would, put it up there in my top 5 favourites in terms of shooters. So that's that. It's called Who's That Flying? Just check out videos on it on YouTube. It really is enjoyable. Okay. Next question. What game do you think deserves a sequel or a modern remake? I don't know. I think my favourite old school game would obviously be like Galaxian and Galaga and that sort of thing. If they can do a really cool remake of that somehow without still keeping the elements to it, I don't know if that's possible or not. I don't know. I know they've done countless of other versions of those games, but whether or not they can do one that that's perhaps more first person based, that still has some sort of element of shooting enjoyment, I just don't know. Maybe they can do like a really crazy top down version of Galaga or something that's a bit almost like has bullet hell elements with tons of really cool graphics going on in the background. Maybe, I don't know. But that's the one that comes to mind anyway. Okay, next question. My personal questions these are. Who's your favourite musician or band? I find as you go through life, your favourites change. I mean, when I was a kid, my favourite was probably the Beatles, and then I got into things like Eurythmics and stuff, and then during the Britpop and 90 years, I was really into the Britpop indie scene, so a lot of Britpop bands like Sleeper and Elastica and Blur and Oasis and that sort of thing was really popular, and then I got into Texas, the band, and Charlene Spiteri, and then later on I got into other bands and stuff like Mumford and Sons more recently, and Noah and the Ark, which was pretty cool. But I guess on the whole, my number one probably has to be Johnny Cash. Not only his vintage stuff, but all of the American catalogue, the American Records catalogue. I think there's some really good songs there. So I say number one will have to be Johnny Cash. Okay, next one. What's something you really liked as a kid but don't care for now? That could be anything, couldn't it, really? It could be like TV, it could be toys, it could be something you eat. I'm not too sure about that. I think I guess one of the big things I was into when I was a kid was one of those choose your own adventure fighting fantasy type books, whereby it's basically a story, and as you go from stage to stage, you're presented with other options, and you have little battles where you're using dice and so forth. I was totally crazy into those, those fighting fantasy books and stuff. I still got a few, got a few video game versions even actually, and Warlock of Firetop Mountain is a classic. So I can't say I'm crazy onto those now. I've still got a few other books and stuff, and I think I must have my original books somewhere in the loft. But so I'll probably say the fighting fantasy books when I was a kid. I was really mad into those now, but now I get so little time to read, really, to be perfectly honest. Okay, next one question. What did you want to be when you grew up? I think the first thing I ever wanted to be when I was probably about 13 or 14 was like a movie cameraman or something. We were working for TV or movies. I just thought it was cool, really. you know, playing with cameras and so forth. And I was always quite good with normal cameras. You know, I was always able to take good pictures, everyone said, and so forth. But, you know, really, it's one of those career paths that, you know, they're very hard to get into, really. I mean, you know, I guess you have to go to film school and stuff, maybe, but that's more like filmmaking, I suppose. Yeah, I guess that's, you know, it was that, and then when I got into high school, I was a bit more realistic and sensible, and I was thinking about architecture. Then I sort of realised that you needed to have be more artistic than I was, and as well as having quite a good technical mind. So I ended up not knowing what I wanted to be, really. So just went into university and just did subjects I was interested in. So yeah, but anyway, I sort of digress a bit. So next question. If you could go back and do one thing different, what would it be? I can't say I have any major regrets in life. I've been quite fortunate in that sense. I mean, you know, like everyone, shit happens and so forth, and bad things happen. But usually, sometimes there's, you know, there's often silver linings to those clouds, really, and things change, and it works out for the better in the long run, really. So, I guess the only thing I would change, which is more minor things, is that I suppose when I was growing up, when I was starting to have girlfriends and so forth, you know, I think especially from the age of about 19 to, you know, 23 and 24, I was quite bit emotionally immature, I suppose, like most kids or boys that age, I suppose, or young men that age, really. And when I was in a relationship that I wanted to end, instead of being a mature and sensible person and, you know, discussing it and talking about it and ending it in a sort of a harmonious way, you sort of end it in the most crappiest, painful way possible by, you know, ignoring people, blanking people, or just not replying to letters or emails and ignoring people, which is a terrible way to break up with people. You know, I must admit I've had it done to myself as well, but it's a very immature way of breaking up with people, and I think, you know, with hindsight I would have liked to have done that in a more mature way. But when you're growing up and so forth, you just don't know those ways, do you, really? You just, you know, think whatever's easiest for you, really. And so I think with hindsight, I think, you know, if I could have changed things, I think I would have still broken up, but still broken up in a sort of more mature and harmonious way, tried to avoid causing too much prolonged pain for the other person, I think, really. Because, you know, I think, you know, it's nothing worse than breaking up with someone who's, you know, feels stronger about you than you do about them, especially, you know, if they're sort of in love with you and so forth. So it's a real messy subject, really, isn't it, breaking up with people? But I think there's, you know, there's good ways to break up and there's bad ways to break up. And when you're growing up, you definitely do a lot more of the bad ways. So I think that's the only thing I would regret. But that's not something with benefit of hindsight in it. You know, it's something sign of maturity. You sort of learn from these, I suppose. That's, you know, that's how you do learn, I suppose. So I think that's pretty much all my questions. So all it leaves to remain is for me to tag a few other tubers with the same questions. So I will, in the description below, leave a list of all the questions that's going round, and I'd like to thank Nathan again from Longshot Nathan for tagging me in the first place. But in terms of people I'm going to tag in response, will have to be, of course, Bill Benton. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. 2 other YouTubers, or 3 other YouTubers, I think. Chris at Crosschop. Chris is a great YouTuber. He's very he does lots of pickups, and if he goes to any gaming events or whatever else, he might have footage of that too, out and about in the community type things. But he's you know, he's a fantastic video editor. He injects a lot of his sort of humour, which, you know, often things go off at a bizarre tangent. It's, you know, it's half mixed of some sort of surreal, not quite Monty Python-esque, but that sort of surreal, off-ball sense of humour, really. He sort of kind of reminded me of the humour of the Goon Show, which is a British Goon Show that had Peter Sellers in and a guy called Spike Milligan. A lot of people of you may not know them, but they had really surreal, wacky sense of humour, and you know, they had lots of fantastic radio broadcast shows and so forth, and it's using the technology they did at a time, which was like in the 1950s and so forth. But it's very surreal sense of humour they really had, and it's very funny stuff. So I think, you know, if they had the technology that people have today, I was able to do videos and everything else, they would have done some really wonderful things. Those guys would have done, you know. But anyway, I digress again. So I would just say, check out Chris's channel on Cross Chop, and also 2 other YouTubers, MT Shark 7. Mark, his channel again, he does a lot of pickups and so forth. He's a wonderful, really nice guy. He does a few podcast videos when he's, you know, chatting with other friends and so forth, as well as with the old pickups. He's got a beautiful daughter. Sometimes she appears in this video, and she is, she's a real peach. She is. So yeah, check out Mark's channel, and another channel, a new one which I've just started subscribing to. Rebel Gamers, I think they're called, or is it Retro Gamers? I know it's Rebel Gamers, I think it is. I'll leave again a link to their channel. These guys are 2 brothers who love games and metal music and or was it rock? I don't know, sort of grungy type music. Good stuff, all the same. These guys are can be so funny. Very straight-faced sense of humour, but obviously there's lots of jokes there. They have their mates around, and again, they inject a lot of sense of humour in their videos, and I really do like it. These are the sort of guys that I would like to get drunk with, if that makes any sense, because I think you'll have a blast. I think you really would. These are real, you know, real dudes. That's what I say. These guys are real dudes. So by all means, check out their channel. So this is a shout out to them as well. So that's it, guys. That's all my that's all the end of the video today. I do have gaming pickups to show, but I think I'll probably leave that to next week. I usually find that towards the end of the month, and, you know, a week or 2 before I get paid is when my pickups get a bit slower, like everyone else. You know, you're at the end of your budget, aren't you? So you know, things sort of dry up a little bit. So I think I'll save my gaming pickups for next week. I will, and show them then. So that's it, guys. Take care, and until next time, bye!